Hi everyone, welcome to my Clever Creations Live. I am Lori Longwell, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'm doing a pre-recorded video. I have so many different things going on, and my schedule has just been kind of all over the place, and I couldn't go another week without getting in a card tutorial video. So I decided, rather than trying to scramble and squeeze something into a time that may not work for everyone, just all the things, I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a pre-recorded. That way everyone can watch this video during their leisure time. So anyway, I have got a fun card for you today. It is a gatefold card, but kind of with a little twist, so to speak. It has a locking mechanism here on the front. So I just saw this card not too long ago. I think I found it on Pinterest. And typical me, I forgot to write down and give credit to the person who I watched. So I'll get that information and I'll include that in the comments of this video. But anyway, I just thought this was a really fun card. We've probably all done some form of the gatefold card, but what I really liked about this was when I opened it up, just that nice little surprise inside, the element of surprise when you open up a gatefold. But I also really like it when it's closed up. As you can see, if I set it here, it does kind of pop open. Maybe if you worked even some more on your burnishing, your creasing, your score lines, it might lay even more flat, but it's going to be fine because when you put it in an envelope, it's going to fit right in there without any issue. But anyway, I just thought this was real fun. I love the way it slides together so that left-handed panel slides under the right-handed the right side panel, and then it just lays nicely. So we're going to make 2 of these cards today, and I hope that you're going to give them a try. So let's go with the first one. Oh, I am going to feature the Cheers and Sips bundle. Now, I didn't do much with the dies, but this does come in a bundle, the stamp sets and the sets of dies. There actually is an entire suite of products. So there's a paper pack, which is a lot of fun. We'll just take a quick peek at that. Well, this is one of the pieces in the paper pack with all your different drinks, whether they're cocktails or your lemonade, your mocktails or your cocktails. So this is a lot of fun. Love this piece of paper, the bright, beautiful colors. Then there's another fun one with all the different fruits and a little, some little greens, some little things you might, sprigs of stuff you might want to throw in your cocktail, mocktail. Probably a little bit of basil, some mint, lavender, and then of course the fruits that are here. And on the back side is, you probably can't see this real well, but this is Secret C, and there is some design on here. So it's just nice for maybe a background piece for your cards. And I forgot to show you the back of this one with the pink and the strawberry slush back here, the little polka dots. Then we have a piece with the bigger glasses, and you can see there's some ice cubes in there and the pretty little umbrella for your cocktail. So these are really fun. Now the dies will cut out some of these glasses, that it won't cut out the umbrella with the glass. You could cut that separately because there is a die for the umbrella. But I did a lot of fussy cutting with these. I just didn't bother even die cutting. I just fussy cut them because they were so easy to do. Oh, and then the back side of that one, we have some Blackberry Bliss and maybe Melon Mambo, Berry Burst, something in there, bright pink, pinky. And then this beautiful piece, which I am going to be using today with the flowers. So you can see it kind of has the whole cocktail thing as well as some floral images, which I think is great. A very diverse pack of paper. So all these pretty floral images, and on the back side is an old olive with just a little bit of a print on the back there. And I don't think that one belongs in here. I have a piece that I believe is in the wrong pack of paper. And the other one is this piece, which has just these little watercolor little splotches on there. You can die cut these, you can fussy cut them. Those are great. And the back side is cloud cover with sort of this star, like a starbursty pattern on the back. So lots of different things with this paper pack. So if you're not so turned on maybe by maybe you're not a cocktail person or whatever, think about mocktails or just that refreshing glass of lemonade or your different juices and things, your sparkling waters and all of that. So lots of different things you could do with this paper pack, as well as the bundle, the stamps and dies. There is, in addition to these things in the suite, there is a spool of ribbon, which I am 100% sure that I bought because I bought the entire suite. I cannot find my spool of ribbon. I have looked everywhere. I know it's probably right in front of me, and someday when I least am looking for it, it's going to just pop up. But I've looked a couple times and I cannot find my spool of ribbon, and I'm very frustrated. It's real pretty. It's sheer and it's got some gold in it. So today I'm going to throw in a piece of white called woven ribbon, and I'm going to use this and possibly and maybe do a little something with it, but that's what we're gonna give that a try. So to make this card, one sheet of 8.5 by 11 will make your card, the card base and the layers that you need. Now, if you want to mix your colors like I did in my sample card, I used Lost Lagoon, and then my layers, I used Pretty Peacock. You can do that, but I'm going to show you how you can utilize your one piece of 8.5 by 11 to make the card base and the two layers that you need for your panels. And then in addition to that, you're going to need some white cardstock and then another piece for the inside panel of your card, which we'll talk about. So I wrote the measurements down, and I think what I'll do is type them up or write them up neatly so that I can include them in case somebody wants to try to make this card. This embossing folder I'm holding, comes in a set of 2. These are called Glass and Garden mini embossing folders, and they are a part of this suite of the Cheers and Sips suite. So I'm going to be incorporating those as well. On the first card that I'm using, that floral piece of paper, I'm going to do Bubble Bath for my card base. I've got a piece of Highland Heather just to kind of bring out some more of the purple here. I've embossed a piece of white with the floral image. Let me see if I put a darker piece in here, if you can see. Well, it is hard to see that floral, but it's got kind of a rose and some different little flowers in here. Very sweet little embossing folder. So I'm going to use that, and then I just die cut from the Impressions of Bloom. That's another bundle that we have. I die cut this leaf from that die set, and then these flowers are from a piece of paper that's in that set, in that suite. And I just fussy cut a couple of flowers because I wanted some flowers to go on here. I probably could have tried to cut some from here. These were a little smaller and these were going to work. So we are incorporating a few different things. And then I just have this little banner piece, which I may or may not use. I might come up with something else, but my thought was to use this. And this is from the Stitched Shapes. Now, this bundle, Cheers and Sips, I can't remember if I said it, but it is an online exclusive bundle. So you will not find it in the annual catalog, but when you go to my shop with me, go to LoriLongwell.stampinup.net right here, and look at shop products. You can look for online exclusives, or in the drop down, you can just look for the drop down that says online exclusives, and then you will find so many more products that are what in the catalog. So I'm hoping that you guys are doing that, shopping for those online exclusives, because there are some amazing, amazing products out there that are not in the catalog, but that you can only get by shopping online. So be sure you take advantage of that. Take a little peek of that. All right, so I've got my sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. The first thing I need to do is I need to cut the length to 10 3/4 inches. So I've got this in here. The 11-inch side is across the top of my paper trimmer, and I'm going to cut off that 1/4 inch, and I'm just going to throw that away. I don't need that. Now, what I need to do next, I'm going to turn my piece of paper because I need this at 5.5. So now with the 8.5-inch side up here at the top of my trimmer, I'm going to cut this at 5.5. So I'm just going to go right down that side, and now I've got this 5.5 by 10 3/4 piece of cardstock. Now on this leftover piece, which is going to measure at 3 inches by 10 3/4, that's where I'm going to cut my 2 panels that I need, because they need to be 3 inches wide, and one of them is, let me look at my measurements, one is 3 by 5, so I'm going to cut that at 5 inches, and then this one I believe is at 4 1/4, but let me make sure. Yep, 3 by 4 1/4. So that's going to be my right hand panel. So my left hand panel is a little bit longer, but they're both the same width. So 5 by 3, and then this is 4 1/4 by 3. So we need those. I'm going to set those off to the side. You've got this little scrap left over. You could certainly find a good use for that, I'm sure, and I may. We'll see. Now we need to do some scoring. And I think today I'm going to bring out my Simply scoreboard, because I don't use that very often, and I should be showing you how to use this because it is a great item to use. Now I've lost my little little markers that went up there to mark your place where you want to score, and they can sit inside this. There's a little secret panel here, and your markers can stay in there, or your other tools if you want to. But I've managed to lose mine, and I even ordered some more from someone who was making them, and I don't know what's happened to them. They pop off, and I don't take good care of them, so that's my own fault. So anyway, enough of that. I'm not going to use the markers, but there's a measurement. There's a ruler on here, so I can use that. So now I've got that 10 3/4 inch right up here at the top of my Simply scoreboard. And I need to make 4 score lines. So the first one is at 1 5/8. So 5/8 is that little mark after your 1/2 inch. So I need to make 1 5/8. Then I need 3 1/4, 7 1/2, and 9 1/8. So 9, and then 1/8 would be the first little line. So we've got 4 score lines on here, and that's the end of the scoring. Set that over there, because I was planning to make 2 cards, so we'll see how we do here. So I'm going to fold this right hand side over, get my bone folder. Oh, got some sticky on there. I'm going to score that inward, and then this is going to fold out. And you do want to be sure that you score and burnish your lines. Score them really good, or burnish them really good, because that's going to help your card lay better. Okay, this piece of scrap grid paper needs to be adhered down. I forgot to do that. So I hope everybody's doing great. My gosh, this weather, I don't know about, if you're watching from other areas, but in our area of New York State, we have had such nonsense with rain And the next couple of days forecast is not looking really great, which is frustrating. I've got gardening I'd like to finally get to. I've just started buying a few plants, and I always try to hold off closer to Memorial Day for fear of frost. So I've got stuff I want to get in the ground. Okay, so I got that down. Sorry for that little interruption. But anyway, let's hope some things change with our weather here pretty soon. Okay, so now these two panels that we cut. This one is 3 by 5. And then I've got a piece of designer series paper, which is going to go on top of that. And my designer series paper needs to be 2 3/4 by 4 3/4. I thought I had cut that properly, but I did not. I cut it the same as the piece of cardstock. How silly was that? There we go. So 2 3/4 by 4 3/4, and that's just going to get layered right up on this piece of cardstock. So now you could make these a little bit fancier with some other detailing and stuff, but I'm going to make them just like I watched the video. And then this panel is going to go on the left hand side. Now I liked a little trick that she showed. She opened up her card and she took this panel with her designer paper on it and she flipped it like this. And then she kind of laid it down and measured off, got right where she wants to adhere that to this left-hand side. I think that's 2 1/8 inches panel over there where that score line is. She lined that up. And I'm just showing you this for adhesive purposes. I usually do this much differently, but I thought it was interesting the way she was showing it, and it might be helpful to people. Then she can have an eyeball of how far over she would have her adhesive go. So I've got my score line that I can see, that little bit on the top and the bottom, because I know I only want adhesive on this one side that's going to get adhered on the left-hand side. Then when I flip it back like this, it's ready to be adhered. And I'm going to leave about a 1/4 inch all the way around the 3 sides and press that down. Now, I have watched people who just put their adhesive directly on the card base, and they lay it down, and that's fine if that's the way you like to do it. I'm just afraid I'm going to not quite get my glue where I want it, or my adhesive. So I always like adhering it to, or putting the adhesive on my panel, on my piece that I'm attaching to my card base. That's just how it works well for me. So then let's go to the middle. We'll work our way to the right. So now in the middle section, we've got some cardstock that can go inside here. But before I adhere this, I think I'm going to do a little bit of stamping on it, just because it's a good idea to stamp before you adhere in case you make a boo-boo, right? So I'm going to just put this down because I'm working white on white and it's kind of hard to see. So we've got flowers going on here. And in the cheers and sips, there's this cute little stamp, and you can color in some flowers on it. So I think that's what I'm going to do. We're going to use that. And then let's use, I think we're just going to use that. Maybe we'll make 2 of them. So I'm going to use, looks like there's Old Olive and Garden Green maybe in there. I'm going to use Old Olive. And let's do 2 of these. We'll do 1. And this one I'll kind of stamp off. So I'm going to put this a little bit lower, and I'm going to stamp off my piece of paper. And just like that, we've got those. And let me wipe this off and put it back, so I'm not losing any stamps today. All right, and I am going to use light fresh freesia for my flowers. Might do some a little bit darker. This is pretty light. And then let's go to light Highland Heather. Whoops. That's still pretty light, but that's okay. There's not a lot of white space in these little flowers anyway, so do a little bit up there. So you can kind of see there's not a lot of white space in there to color, but I got a little bit in there. And then I'm going to use a light, little bit of lemon lime twist just to do some brighter leaves. And for my sentiment, I'm going to do on the outside, let's celebrate. And on the inside, I'm going to do it's your day. There's not a happy birthday in this one, so I may add a little happy birthday from another stamp set. And let's do this one in Highland Heather. It's your day. And where's my little banner? Maybe we'll do happy birthday on the outside. Let me find a happy birthday sentiment that will fit on there. Should have thought of that beforehand, huh? That's okay. Oh, here's one. I'm going to use it out of the butterflies. That happy birthday should work. There it is. That is going to be just perfect on this little banner. Oh my goodness, it couldn't have been better. We'll put that happy birthday on the outside, and then it's your day on the inside. So I think we'll save the let's celebrate for my other card. All right, put that away. So that stamping is done. Now let's put this on this piece and then attach it to the inside. There we go. Down there. Oh, so I had initially thought I would do a live tonight, and then all of a sudden it hit me, oh geez, tonight my granddaughters have their art fair at school, and it was last night too, but they had a ball game, so I couldn't go last night, and we were kind of planning on maybe some of us meeting up and going together to the art fair tonight. So that put a damper in doing my live, because I don't like to do them real late in the evening. I kind of wind down by 8 o'clock. I'm ready to just chill out. So anyway, I thought this would work. And I hope you'll leave some comments when you're watching the replay of the video. I would love to hear from you, your comments. Oops. So now how this is going to work. I've got my white adhered to this panel, which is going to go on that right hand side. So now I want to fold this all up. So it's 4 1/4 wide by 5 1/2 standard card base. And then I'm going to lay this piece on top. So I want you to notice that it's going to go over top of your left hand panel. That's why you want it laid down. So you're going to see that there. You can see your panel. Now we are just going to do a thin strip of adhesive on this right hand side so that when you open that up, you can tuck that left panel back underneath there. Okay, so you don't want to do your adhesive too wide, because then that panel may not fit in there properly. So this is just to kind of give you a gauge and give you a good idea of, you want a thin line of adhesive. It's going to go on this right-hand side. So I'm going to do that again. I'm going to flip this over like that, and I know my adhesive needs to go right here. Now, I could use a line of Tombow multipurpose glue. I can use my Stamp and Seal Plus, which is what I'm going to use because it's a nice, it's just the perfect width. I'm just going to run that right down that right-hand side. And this is an awesome adhesive if you're not familiar with it. I love Stamp and Seal Plus. I love Stamp and Seal. The Plus is great for 3D projects and stuff. So I like using it for this reason because I want it good and sturdy. And then I'm going to lay this back down. I haven't pressed it real hard yet. Got this folded underneath. And then I can press that. And now we're going to open like that. And then that is going to slide. That left-hand side slides right underneath there. Isn't that cool? I just love this card. Love this design. So now we've got that flower piece on there, that floral piece. And then I thought this would be kind of pretty to just put that piece of that leaf on there, and then pop up a couple of these beautiful flowers. So I'll use a little, I think I'm going to use Stamp and Seal on this. So now you see I'm using this silicone mat. This is great for your adhesives because stuff is not going to stick to it. And also, if you're using Stamp and Seal, a lot of people complain they can't really work their Stamp and Seal. And I know sometimes it can be difficult, but I am a fan of Stamp and Seal. And if you're trying to run it and your adhesive isn't coming out, you can use your finger to kind of move it along. If you've got a silicone sheet, you can use your silicone sheet to move it along. And nothing's going to stick to this. You can just wipe it off afterwards. So we've got our adhesive on there. I think I'll put that right there. And these pretty little flowers, let's pop those up maybe with some dimensionals. Dimensional on there. And I think this I'm going to need smaller. And I do have some little mini dimensionals. I'm going to grab those. A whole bunch of dimensionals here. I've got bits and pieces. I've got minis. So one quick note while I don't know, just random stuff pops in my head. Does that happen to you? Just all of a sudden, something pops in. So we're winding down in the month of May, and that means that we're also winding down in our join promotion for the month of May with Stampin' Up. Now, the join promotion, if you're not familiar, is where you choose your starter kit, it's called, and join as a demonstrator with Stampin' Up. And currently in the month of May, the join offer is you can pick $165 in product for a mere $99. That includes your shipping. It does not include tax, or you would pay tax on your $99. And in your starter kit, you will get your $165 in product that you choose, or I can help you choose. You will also get some additional product from Stampin' Up. They're going to send you a paper pumpkin kit. They're going to send you some business supplies, so to speak. And I'm trying to think. Oh, and then of course, right after you become a after you sign up and you get your demonstrator ID, which will happen very quickly, then you get the perk of 20% off all your future purchases. And then as you advance in title, that percentage can increase. But to start off with, you will start at 20% discount. In addition, you'd be a part of my team, which would be amazing. I love growing my team, and the more the merrier. You would also be a part of our wonderful Stampin' Up! Community of demonstrators. You would be able to attend special demonstrator-only events. You would have the perks of seeing products early. Sometimes there's demonstrators get to see things, get a little preview of things and order things earlier. I'm just trying to find some embellishments here while I'm trying to talk and find embellishments that I want to use. So there's just all kinds of great things that go along with being a demonstrator. And if that is something that potentially you are interested in, I would love to chat with you. So send me a message. You can give me a call. I'd love to sit down and talk to you about the joining and having you a part of my team. And I know I'm missing things, highlights, but those might pop in my head as we go along, and I'll share those with you. Yeah, so if you've got, let's say you've been spying the catalog and the online products, and you've been seeing a lot of things that are just, whew, they're really sparking your interest, but your budget isn't quite ready to spend that much, this would be a great opportunity for you to maybe be able to add on those things, get that $165 in product, additional $66 in product for that $99. So yeah, give me a call. Send me a message. I'd love to talk to you. So isn't this card beautiful? I love this. And I decided against the ribbon on this one. I thought we've got enough going on. Got the flower, my little birthday. I added the holographic gems, which are new. Love them. They're super shiny and holographic, as it says, so they change a little bit of color, pick up colors of things around them. But I just think this is a beautiful card. So there's number 1, and now we can a little bit more quickly, we'll go through and we will make card number 2. So this one, we're going to use Daffodil Delight and Timid Tiger for our colors, and I'm going to set my pieces that I've already got cut up to make this card, set those over there. I need to cut off a 1/4 of an inch off the length of this, so it needs to be 8.5 by 10 3/4. Then I need to turn it and cut it at 5.5. Then this piece, I need 1 piece at 5 and 1 piece at 4.25. We can save this for something else. Now this time I'm going to score using my trimmer, paper trimmer. So my first score line is, I gotta find my score lines. 1 5/8. 1 5/8. I'm gonna score. And then the next one is 3 1/4. And I'm going to show you a little trick. So if you're using your paper trimmer to do your scoring, and you're going to be doing the same thing on both ends of your piece of paper, you can just score your 2 lines and then turn your paper around and score the other 2 lines. So now I'm going to do the same thing. 1 5/8. And I think, is that 3 1/4? 3 1/4. So that worked out perfectly. And then again, I'm going to fold these in, burnish my score lines. Another thing that I keep forgetting to talk about is in the month of May, if you place a $60 order with me, pre-tax and shipping, I have a free tutorial to send you that features the Notes and Totes suite of products. It's a part of the Stampin' Creative Collective, excuse me, I called it backwards. Creative Stampin' Collective, that I am one of the 12 demonstrators. And each month we will feature a bundle or a suite of products. And for the month of May, we're featuring the Notes and Totes bundle. So if you place that $60 order, you're going to get, I will be sending you the PDF. I'll email you the PDF tutorial. And as far as my team members, if you're listening, I will also be sending all of you the PDF tutorial. I just need to remember what size this was. 4 3/4. So here's our designer series paper that's going to go on our left-hand panel. Now, if you wanted to put designer paper over here, you certainly could do that. I'm using that white embossed piece, but a piece of designer paper over there would be perfect. I'll put some Tombow multi-purpose glue. I'm just trying to remember if there's any other things that are happening that I have forgotten to tell you about, because I did forget about our offer this month for the Notes and Totes bundle. That is in the featured section on my Clever Creations group. So if you want more information about that, and I'll try to remember to put a post on there today about it as well. And then my right-handed panel, I've got the other embossed piece, which is kind of that, I guess, glass, maybe that they were talking, that it's called Glass and Garden. So this piece is like a piece of glass with like etching or something in it, maybe. I'm just trimming my trimmer. I got kind of some little fuzzy edges, and I don't like fuzzy edges. Okay, I'm going to adhere this. That right on there. I've got my piece that's going to go in the center. And let me stamp on that. So on the outside, I'm going to do cheers to you. Oh, yeah, that's cute. All right. There's some cute little things in here. So let's do the cheers. To you. That's a tiny little stamp. So I am going to, whoops, let me get these sitting on here how I want them. Put them right up end to end. I think that's going to work. Looks pretty straight. Okay. And I think I'm going to pick up, oh, the Timid Tiger. Let's pick up the Timid Tiger in our stamping. Timid Tiger is one of our new in colors for 25 to 27. Now you could stamp this separately because it is two separate stamps. I just put them on together and got lucky and it turned out pretty good. But you could stamp them separately if you're afraid that you might mess that up. So that's going to go on the outside. Let me wipe those off. And then on the inside, cheers to you, and then let's celebrate. Will go on the inside. So this could be cheers for, oh, maybe somebody retired, or they have some big, maybe they got a promotion, maybe something big is happening, or it's their birthday. Could be lots of reasons to celebrate, right? All kinds of things. And let me put that stamp back because it's so little. I don't want it to fall off and get lost. And we'll adhere this to the inside. These would be a pretty card, a cool card to do a graduation cards, because it'd be fun to open that up, you know, just thinking of all the things. So I'm going to set that off to the side. And then I've got some pieces that I fussy cut from the Cheers and Sips Designer Series paper that I thought would be fun to add on here. So I think we're going to do that, maybe like that. You can see I kind of, that leaf, that probably little mint leaf was up at the top of the piece of paper, so it didn't. So I'm just going to trim it so it looks a little more normal. Not kind of cut off. And then I did cut out a little piece of lemon. So I thought I could maybe add that lemon on there also to decorate up our cup. It's got a lime down in there, but we will add some lemon as well, just to bring out a little more of the yellow. And I just put a little slit in that so it'd go right over the edge of the cup. All right, this one I'm going to raise up on some dimensionals. I'm going to put one to kind of grab the edge of that piece of lemon that I put on there. I keep thinking about the spool of ribbon that I know I had it. Oops, I forgot. I need to put this one underneath there. Oh, that's going to work. I didn't put a dimensional over there. Okay, that worked. Yeah, so we're going to do that. But yeah, it's just driving me crazy where that thing of ribbon could be. Oh my gosh. And I've looked in some of the silliest places too, but I don't know. It'll appear somewhere and I'll say, oh, huh, how'd you get there? Stick that down there. All right, love it. And now let's put this on here. And I don't want to cover up my lemon or my lime on there. So I think I'm going to put it right about there. There we go. Love it. And then this is going to go over here. So we need to remember again that I only want that, you know, maybe 1/4 of an inch over here. So I've got maybe an inch to work with. So I'm just going to keep that adhesive over to this right-hand side so that this slider from the left can hook underneath there. So I'm going to flip that down and grab my Stampin' Seal Plus again. Run that right down that edge. Press that down. Beautiful. And there we go. Let's do some embellishing. So I've got some of our in color flat pearls for the 25, 27 colors. And of course the Timid Tiger is in there. And we'll throw in, a few of them here. Put that up there. Put the yellow one, the Darling Duckling. And then why not throw in the Strawberry Slush, because that'll bring out some of the pink from over there. All right. So here are the gatefold. Gatefold locking card, I think maybe she called it. So I didn't end up putting any ribbon on there, but that's all right. So there we go, you guys. I hope you'll enjoy this card and maybe give it a try. As I said, I'll work on getting the dimensions printed up for you so that I can add those in the context of this video. And maybe you'll give this a try, and be sure you share it if you do. So take care, everyone. Have a great weekend, and I will be back with you next week. Bye-bye.